Today, we're going to look at throttle position sensor. Mine has a couple of zip ties holding the wires to keep them from breaking anymore. You can see the insulation's broken and the wires are exposed, and I've had to repair one of the wires. So, to prevent that, I put some zip ties on it. The wires come all the way up here, this connector right here, and this is also a good place to test it. If your insulation is in good shape and you can't make contact there, this is actually a pretty good place to test your TPS. The throttle, that's your throttle position sensor. The ISC is right here. You can't really see it very well. Probably, I don't know. I can't see what the camera can see. Anyway, so this piece here is the ISC, idle speed controller, and these two wires in the back here control the motor. There's a little DC motor in there, and these two wires go to a connector, and they control the motor in here, and the motor opens and closes the throttle a little bit, adjusts it. The last thing that you need to know where it is this right here. This is the idle set screw, and that's where you adjust the idle when the engine's warmed up. So hopefully that will clear things up. Right here, this connector here goes to the idle control. This one over here goes to the throttle position sensor. So throttle position sensor, connector, in idle speed control. More on the TPS ISC. This is a throttle body, and it sits, these are pointing toward the front of the car. This is throttle position sensor, although I've modified it with the wires broke off, and so I modified it. And it sits on something like that, only normally there's wires coming out from there that go to a connector that goes into here. This is the ISC. It sits roughly right here. There's a plate up here that holds it in place, and the connector sits down here. It's a pretty simple mechanism. It has two wires. You take these two screws off here and here, and you can pull this cover off and the rubber boot off, and sometimes the wires break in here and you have to repair them. You can pull it out. It's a little DC motor with a gear on it, and you might be able to replace it if yours is bad. Sometimes you can just spin it a little bit, and that'll clear up the contacts enough that it starts working again. And it actuates this. There's some gears in here, and it pushes this, which pushes the throttle here, right on this thing right here. Okay, and so the last thing is on the back side that you can't normally see very well in the car is this is the idle screw right here. And that adjusts. You can see how it has a spring here, and it adjusts these two, and that will adjust the idle. So, hopefully, that clears up what all those parts are. Throttle position sensor, ISC, idle adjust screw.